Hi, I'm Jette Ferguson. People call me Jette, Jette. I'm with Sotheby's International Realty here in Carmel, California, and today I have Jeff McMullen, Senior Mortgage Lender at Cal Financial. That's
Yes,
Cal with a K, Financial. So today I wanted to just have you answer a question that has come up over and over again from our buyers, and that is, why would I want to work with a mortgage lender versus a bank?
Got it. So, I guess like full disclosure, I worked in a bank for a decade. I was with Washington Mutual until Washington Mutual became Chase, and then I was with Chase for a few years. What I found as a loan originator is that Chase Bank was great for doing a certain type of loan, but they couldn't do all loans. And so every bank has what's called overlays, meaning this is what credit policy is, but we're gonna say that this is too risky for us or this is not too risky for us. So whereas Wells Fargo could do a loan, maybe Chase couldn't. Chase could do certain loans that Wells Fargo couldn't. B of A could do loans that Chase couldn't do, right? So what I found is that it frustrated me because I wanted to be able to say, yes, you can do this, or no, you can't. Right. So as a mortgage banker and a broker, it's really been fun because I can go anywhere. So like just today, I was quoting loans for 6 different banks. We put this deal together 6 different ways, and that just wasn't possible anywhere else. So for me, there's a lot more options. I can provide a much better experience, and I can tell you what's available anywhere.
Right. That's helpful. And you work with how many banks?
Gosh, it's hard to put a limit on it because we can add them as we go. So I would say the line I've said for the most often is that we work with all the banks that you've heard of and probably a bunch of banks that you haven't heard of. All the big name banks we're signed up with, but we also have a lot of what we call niche lenders. There are certain banks that are really good with 10% down on a jumbo. There are some loans that you can do at 5% down with no mortgage insurance. So there's just a lot of different variables that we can cover. We've got private money loans, reverse mortgages, a lot of things.
And someday I want to ask you more about some of those because I think people would be interested in those as well. So I'm just trying to figure what are some of the basic questions that a buyer, when they're selecting their lender, is going to have, and one is interest rate. How competitive can you be on interest rate?
I'd say we're really competitive on interest rate. Yeah, we're sharp. So I remember this from working in the bank years ago is I would tell people a certain rate, and then they would go to a mortgage banker or a broker, and the mortgage banker or broker would get the deal, and then the loan would be sold back to my bank. So because we have a lower cost structure, meaning banks aren't paying for my 401k, they're not paying for the rent on my building, there's no overhead with us. It's just they just basically pay us to do the loan, and then we are gone. Right. So because we can keep our costs lower, we can typically offer a better rate and a better product to the consumer.
I've seen that because I've seen there are some loans that people look for online, and then I see that you can work with that same bank with your reputation, and still I can get a buyer in because your reputation backs that, that you're going to close, but also you get a better rate from the same company.
Yeah, I like I think there is something to being a local presence, knowing all the realtors, knowing that I've been in this town since 2002, and like we have a real connection with the local real estate market here.
It's kind of hard to explain that to new buyers because when they're not experienced with the home process, or maybe losing out on some possible purchases, they might not understand the value of working with somebody highly respected locally.
Sure.
But I can promise you it's huge. And what a listing agent will do, and I'm a listing agent too, sometimes work with sellers, sometimes with buyers, but when I'm working on the listing side, I have to say, I know this person closes, I don't know this person. This one might take 45 days, this one tends to take 30 days from my past experience. That's all I can say.
Yep.
So, and my past experience and your working with our buyers has been phenomenal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and so you close escrow, and that's why you're my personal person too, and doing a loan with me right now.
Yes, ma'am. which is going well, by the way.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
So, any other last things to mention or words of wisdom regarding?
No, I think that works. Our process is very transparent, so if you do have a quote from your bank and you want to bring it, we can absolutely put it side by side with our numbers and we can go over that. If I don't feel like we can give you a better deal, I will tell you that. I've been in the business.
And I know you will,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I actually had a client that was evaluating 2 scenarios.
Mhm.
And in that case, because of the business loans and all the other things with the bank, they were able to beat you, and pretty much, you told them.
Absolutely. I think it's important that the client at the end of the day is the most important, right? So we're looking out for your clients.
Right.
I always believe will help my business in the long run.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
And why
ma'am.
don't you give your phone number?
Oh, I'm at 831-210-4034.
That's 831-210-4034.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm at 831-402-3800. Thanks so much for joining us on Jette TV.